I understand that this video I'm about to make could get me into a lot of trouble with Assassin's Creed fans, right? And I want to just preface this with a couple things. First of all, I am not super knowledgeable on Assassin's Creed, right? For those of you who know my channel, would know me from my Batman Arkham videos, and now I've become into the Assassin's Creed world as well as Batman Arkham, so I try to do both simultaneously. And these games, in my opinion, are good, right? I haven't beaten the majority of them, but I know the context of a lot of these games. And for me, I was told that Black Flag was like one of the best games in the franchise. It's like one of those things you have to play it, right? Everybody puts it inside their top 5, and it is a very good game, right? I'm going to preface this with a couple things, right? This is a really good game, but it's not an Assassin's Creed game. And I'm going to get into this a little bit more as the video goes on, because the last time I made an Assassin's Creed video, I was a little bit all over the place. You know, the games are pretty new to me. Right now, I'm doing my playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origins, which I'm enjoying, but I do have some thoughts on that I also want to make on a completely separate video. And after I play through Origins, my plan is to go through AC2, you know, the Ezio collection, all that. I'll play through Rogue and Revelations. I'll play through all those ones before I get back into the RPG games, because those are a grind and take a lot of time and effort and energy. But enough yip yap about nonsense. Today, I wanted to talk about why I think Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is not an Assassin's Creed game. And I saw a TikTok comment somewhere, I'm not sure whose video it was. It kind of sums it up perfectly, that if you are one of those people who love the older games, right? If you love AC1 all the way up until, was it Rogue or Revelations? The last AC game that was made before the RPG era. If you love those games and you think that Origins, Valhalla, Odyssey, even Mirage, Shadows, if you think that those games are not Assassin's Creed games because you don't really play as an assassin, by that same logic, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag cannot be an Assassin's Creed game. Now, I understand there is a slight variation in difference between those games, and that is that in AC4, you play as Desmond's ancestor, right? At the start of the game, it shows Desmond's death, it shows his dead body, and you play as one of his ancestors. So that is a slight variation. However, in my opinion, Desmond already being dead and going into this game makes it not matter nearly as much as if you are someone who, like, let's say you're playing as Desmond in the Animus, or he's on the Animus, or whatever you want to call it, right? And you're playing as one of his ancestors while he's still alive. It has a little bit of a deeper meaning, because Desmond's entire goal is to try to figure out the Apple of Eden. And I feel like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, it kind of went in the direction of just, you play as this random person in the Animus. You have no clue who you are, right? It's like the whole idea is meant to be you are, and I'm going to butcher the name, the Abstergo company, that you are just an employee for them, but you're a nameless face. And part of the reason why the original Assassin's Creed games worked was because you played as someone that mattered outside of and inside of the Animus, right? No matter what character you were playing as, it mattered in some form or in some sort of capacity. Whereas when you come into Black Flag, it's like you're playing as a pirate, right? You're not even playing as like a legitimate assassin, right? Ezio was a legitimate assassin, whereas you play as someone like Edward, and it's like he's a good character, he's got a good personality, he's entertaining, but he's not really an assassin, right? The only time that Edward really goes on to become an assassin is at like the end of the game, when he's lost everything. He's lost his wife, he's lost a lot of his friends along the way, and the ones who are still alive have kind of abandoned him. And because he doesn't want to get left behind, he kind of just goes, yeah, I'll join your cause with Adewale. That's pretty much what it is. Adewale and the rest of the crew. I'm forgetting their names off the top of my head. But you get the point. He kind of just goes, yeah, okay, I'll join your cause. I'll give up pirating. That's kind of what it feels like when you hit the end of the game, when the majority of the game is spent going after the Sage, and it's like you lose so much along the way that Edward kind of seems to lose purpose or lose the idea of what's so important, right? Because he's someone that doesn't really ever sit still. This is something that his wife complained about. This is something that's talked about at the end of the game, where if he was able to just settle down, live a life of, you know, with a family, with friends, you know, and not feel like you have to be traveling the world all the time, that you might actually have more people in your corner, which that logic completely makes sense, right? Because if you're just leaving people all the time, they're not going to want to stick by you. And it seems like that Edward learned that lesson towards the end of the game, but it's like, we don't do anything with it. We just sail off into the sunset like, oh, okay, I'll become an assassin. And that's the end of the game. It's a little bit of a slap in the face. But going back to the whole Animus thing, you're literally just being almost blackmailed by some nameless face the entire game into doing his dirty work because all the dirt's on you, and whoever this person is that's essentially blackmailing you doesn't really, it doesn't do anything for us. Like, it doesn't further the lore of Assassin's Creed in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't really make me care like it should, right? Because you are a nameless, genderless face. You have no clue who you're playing as. You're literally just a nameless robot, essentially. You're just an employee with a number on your chest. That's kind of what it feels like. And then you play as a character in Edward. Like I said, he's a good character, right? He's got a good personality to him. He's got really good gameplay. I like the combat, but it doesn't lead you anywhere. Like, I don't feel like I learned a lot about the Assassin's Creed lore playing as Edward Kenway. The only thing that I really, learned is that the gameplay is really good. Sure, Desmond's dead if you didn't know that before. Edward's an ancestor of Desmond. Okay, cool. But, like I said, it doesn't do anything. And this is where the start of the era of Assassin's Creed kind of losing its ways. I would say that Black Flag also lost the direction, right? Because then you hop into Origins, you play as Bayek, and, he's not really an assassin. He's more of I almost want to call him a brute in a way, just because he's extremely big and slow. Well, he's not extremely big, but he's big and slow, kind of. I don't know, he's not really an assassin like that, And in Odyssey, you play as a Spartan. In Valhalla, you play as a Viking. Shadows kind of brings back that assassin feel a little bit. Now, I haven't beaten these games, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk like I know everything about these games. But it is true to say that you're not really assassins in those games. Not like you are in the previous games, right? And I'm not one of these people who are nostalgia merchants. I'm going to say that those games are so much better gameplay-wise. Gameplay is a completely separate issue from what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about story and lore. And in the older games, it had a much better story and much better lore. Whereas the gameplay would definitely probably favor the RPG-style games in certain aspects, at least. The level gaining's a really bad issue, and that's something I'll talk about in a separate video. But getting back to the point, I've gotten getting off track a little bit. AC4 Black Flag is not an Assassin's Creed game. It is a pirate game. It is a pirate simulator through and through. And me personally, I wasn't one who enjoyed the naval combat all that much. I thought it was as good as ship combat can be in a game, but I'm personally not one who's into ship combat to begin with. So that's why, of course, I wasn't going to enjoy it. The times where I can feel like an assassin, I could do really cool parkour in buildings. There's really cool combat in the game as well. The stealth was it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. It was literally bush hiding simulator. But the combat itself was really good. But then it just fell flat with the really long traveling sections on a boat. Some people like that. If you're into pirate simulators, you'll like this game. But for someone like me who's trying to get into the franchise of Assassin's Creed, I felt like it missed the mark of the assassin part, right? Literally, like I said before, at the very end is the only time that you really become an assassin, where it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll join your cause. But like I said, he's a pirate. He's not an assassin. So if you're one who thinks, okay, I don't think the RPGs are legitimate Assassin's Creed games, which, by the way, you are not wrong to say that, right? You are not wrong. I'm going to validate that criticism. It seems like they threw Assassin's Creed on the title, Ubisoft did, in order to get money, right? As a sell point, right? It has Assassin's Creed on the title, so we're going to buy the game. And it's smart marketing, but it almost feels like a little bit like false advertising because it's not a legitimate Assassin's Creed game, like I mentioned earlier. And Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is kind of the same thing. Now, if you're going to say that this is a great game, you're not wrong. Black Flag is a good game. It's a great game. I thought it was a little bit overhyped compared to how people were talking about it. I think a lot of people's nostalgia really do get in the way. And I'll probably be saying the same thing about when I play AC2, AC3, whatever, Brotherhood, all those games. When I play those games, I'll probably say they were good, but they might be slightly overhyped. And then AC4 also has the issues when it comes to the tailing missions. I think we all can universally agree there are too many tailing missions. It's like every time there's one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to bang my head against the wall here. And because you can't even think about getting remotely close because they'll look at you and only you and think that you're tailing them, but nobody else in the crowd of people. It's just so frustrating to play. But regardless, it is a good game, okay? I know I've been rambling a lot, and I do want to say this. Black Flag is still a great game. It is a great game, but it's not a great Assassin's Creed game. That is where we have to draw the line and make the distinction. Because when you take a look at, like, AC2, Brotherhood, Revelations, the Ezio collection, right? You can play Rogue, you can play even the first Assassin's Creed game. Those games had purpose in terms of an obvious objective and what you were trying to do. Whereas Black Flag, it's kind of like, it felt almost a little bit aimless. It's like, Desmond's dead, but we're still going to play as one of his ancestors. But it doesn't matter at that point because Desmond's already dead. So there's no... He's not there to track the apple eaten, which is the entire point of the Assassin's Creed franchise to begin with. Instead, it goes in the direction of trying to find the sage. Now, of course, there might be some things I'm getting wrong here. And if I'm wrong on certain things, please let me know down in the comments. And please, let's all have a respectful conversation, because I think this is one of those things that we all need to be able to talk about with each other. Because if we all just agree on everything all the time, we all say Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is one of the best things ever, woo woo, we don't get anything done. We're just gonna have copy and pasted versions of these same games. We need to have discussion and discourse on this stuff, which is why I'm coming out with this video to begin with. But I'm gonna wrap this up with this. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is a great game, great story, amazing side characters, a little bit too much tailing missions. If you like ship combat, you'll like this. It's really good for ship combat. I just don't enjoy it that much personally. It's just not my taste. But that doesn't make the game inherently bad. So, in conclusion, I don't think AC4 Black Flag is a great Assassin's Creed game. It's a great pirate game, but it feels like an aimless adventure where you're kind of just riding off the coattails of the successes of the previous Assassin's Creed games. That's what it is. With the remake coming out, I just want to tell it like it is. I know that some people might not like it. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me. And if you disagree, please explain why down in the comments below. I really hope I got my point across well in this video. It might just seem like incoherent rambles and nonsense. To me, it made sense in my head. When I say it out loud, it doesn't sound quite as good. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is a proper Assassin's Creed game? Or are you in the boat that it kind of fits with the RPGs where it's not really an Assassin's Creed game? It's a great game, but not a great Assassin's game. Or do you just not like it altogether? Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!